a good idea to remove the bottom ones first. Because this has got a bit of weight on it, just gently lift the hopper as you take the bolts out. When you take out the last bolt, I've already taken out 3 bolts. The last bolt, we want to be able to lift it off across onto the table. Let's do that now. So remember, you've got this cable here connected. Now we can lift this out and up onto the table. So the area we're interested in is the underside here. So we can flip this upside down. This is why it was important to empty those pellets out. So we just want to access these bolts here to get this bottom plate off. 8 screws out. Gently slide this off. Now there's a tensioner on this cable which you have to just kind of wiggle the cable through, and we can slide that off to the side. So inside here we have our fan, we have our auger motor, we've got our controller on the side here, and we've got this bundle of cables. Now this one I've played with before, so I've already taken off the cable ties, but you've got some cable ties here that are holding everything together, so we just want to cut those off temporarily. Now the cable we're looking for replacing the ignition rod, which is what we're doing today, is this one here. This is double white one with this high temperature cover on the cable, white and white. If we were going to replace any other components, you can see it's quite clear which ones have different coloured cables. So we've got the orange for the fan, we've got the red for the auger motor, and we can unplug those from the control board. Each of them is labelled fan hot, which is our ignition rod we're going to replace today. And we've got our motor here. So we're going to unplug the hot one like this. As you can see, they've got a triangle at the end, so you can only put them in the one way. Now we've got access to this, and we'll be able to flip it over and then pull this out and replace it with a new one. Okay, so to access the ignition rod, which is down the bottom there, we're just going to take this, the 4 bolts out of the fire pot here, which are quite easy to undo. We've also got 3 screws here, which we can undo. So the body of the fire pot actually slides onto here. So you might have to give it a bit of a tap. I've just used my pliers to give a tap on the side here to loosen off. Then we can slide out, as I'm doing now. As you can see, the ignition rod is just secured with this little screw here. So we can take this out, and then we can just drop our new ignition rod in. We want to slide it in, so we've got just a small amount poking out the end there, 1/2 centimetre. And then we can tighten that up, back into place. We can feed this cable back through the hole, back into the electrical area. So the ignition rod sits below this pipe here. So make sure you're dropping it in below. We'll slide this back into place. It's a little bit tricky, but make sure you've got this lip sitting inside here, these 2 flanges on the bottom side, and we just tap it into place. And then just gently manoeuvre so that the tube in here, the feed tube from the auger, is sitting inside that hole. Slide our fire pot back into place, and then we can put our screws back in, and we're good to go. So now we've turned this unit back over, we've got access to all of our wires here. I've pulled this through nice and tight, so there's no slack in around the fire pot area there. Now what we're going to do is connect this back to the white and purple, which are the hot plug there. So we're going to plug that back in. Now what we want to do is just bundle these cables back up neatly together to make sure there's no slack. The only thing we're worried about here is avoiding any contact with the main fan. Now you can use a twisty tie, or if you've got a cable tie, then obviously even better. Just make sure you haven't caused any of the other cables to become loose, so just double check those. Tighten this up, trim the end off, and we can put the lid back on. Okay, so we can drop this back over. We're going to put the screws back in, 1, 2, and then one on the back here. Obviously don't over torque. I've got a very low torque setting on my screwdriver here. Okay, so now we can slide our hopper assembly back in. Okay, so we'll connect those back together. Always a good idea to bundle those up nice and neat. And then put a twisty tie around them. Please don't over tighten bolts. You'll end up breaking the thread if you get too carried away. That's all back in place now. Now with our baffle plate off, everything out, we can now plug this in, run it on smoke mode to see if we've got some flow, airflow, and also to see if our ignition rod is...
Now what we're looking for in the ignition rod is it to become a dull, here we go, dull red colour. which it's doing, which means that our ignition rod is working as expected.